Okay, hello friends, and welcome to Let's Knit a Drink Bottle Holder, something I've been wanting to do forever. I'm going to take you through this stitch, which I'm calling kind of a braided lattice stitch. So this is what it's going to look like when you have knitted it. And see, this fits over your drink bottle like that, and we are then going to do a few more repeats, and then we're going to cinch it in at the bottom, so it's going to be come under here so it actually holds, and then we're going to do a strap. But I just wanted to show you this stitch because it is a little bit tricky in a way, although we're still just using our same old stitches, but there is something in here that I generally tell you not to do that you are going to do, so pay attention. Okay, so here's our stitch marker. We always pop our stitch marker on the right needle at the beginning of a round, and then we are going to use a magic loop. So that just means pulling the cord of your circular needles through to get stitches on both needles. Okay, so this stitch pattern is a 4-row repeat pattern. So row 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you repeat those entire 4 rows. So I'll go through row 1 with you first, and we already start with the tricky thing. So what we're going to do is called a yarn over, and what that means is that normally with a knit stitch we always have our yarn at the back of our needle, behind our needle, but in order to make a yarn over or do a yarn over, which actually makes us an extra stitch, if you're following me here hopefully, so bringing your yarn to the front when you're doing a knit stitch, it's what we normally do for a purl stitch, and that does not create a yarn over. But if we are doing a knit stitch and we start with our yarn at the front, we will do what's called a yarn over, and that will create an extra stitch. And the reason we are doing that is because we are going to be, all of our knit stitches are going to be knit 2 togethers for this round. So the instructions read yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together. So what I mean by that is bring your yarn to the front and then you knit 2 stitches together as you normally would. But see, your yarn's kind of here at the front, so in order to get the yarn onto this back needle, you have to bring it back around and under, and then you bring those 2 through like normal and throw them off. So you've knit 2 together, but you've also done a yarn over, which creates a stitch, so you've ended up with the same amount of stitches. So there are 22 stitches on the needles, and you will always have 22 stitches on the needles at the end of each round. So here we go again. We yarn over, which just means to bring your yarn to the front when you're doing a knit stitch. And then we knit 2 together. So we go from the left to right like normal, but through 2 stitches. Here our yarn's at the front, so we have to wrap it from the front all the way behind to go around like we normally would. Bring it through and off. So see, we've got 2 4 stitches, which is what we started with by yarning over, which creates a stitch, but then knitting 2 together, which reduces a stitch. So we still end up with the same amount of stitches. So we're going to do that for the whole first round. Yarn over, which is bringing your yarn to the front, knitting 2 together, using that yarn, wrap it around, bring it through, throw it off. Yarn over, bring your yarn to the front, knit 2 together, using that yarn, pull it through, chuck it off the cliff. So now I need to shimmy some stitches around for my magic loop in order to be able to keep knitting in the round. Okay, so we yarn over, knit 2 together, pull through, chuck them both off, yarn over, which is bring yarn to the front, knit 2 together, oh, came off. Round we go, pull them through, chuck them off. We're doing this for the whole round, so I'll just make my magic loop go past that. So yarn over, bring it to the front, knit 2 together, boop. Yarn over, knit 2 together. So So you cannot forget that yarn over, my friends. And what we'll do is at the end of this round, yarn over, we will count our stitches. So you I would suggest doing that at the end of every round, just to make sure that you are still at 22 stitches, because you'd rather only undo one round than get halfway down the line and realize that you've got random extra or not extra stitches. Okie doke. So, oh, that was on there. Now the question is, what have I done wrong? Because there should be an even number of stitches. So this is great to know. Okay, so let's count and see what I've done. Love some troubleshooting. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Okay, so that is good to know. So what that tells me is the yarn over was just before my stitch marker. So I'm going to, for the next round, I am just going to knit every stitch. So here's the yarn over, which just started before my kind of came into fruition on that side of the stitch marker, but we've still got 22 stitches, so we're still nailing it. Okay, so we're just going to knit every stitch, but some stitches look like that, which is your yarn over stitch, so it looks funky, but you still, with the yarn at the back now for this round 2, you still go in and just knit that yarn over stitch. Put that on. So you're going in to knit the yarn over stitch. That's a normal stitch. So I'll just bring my needles around to show you. So round 2 is just knitting every stitch with the yarn at the back, and we're knitting these yarn over stitches too. See, that looks funky, that looks weird, you still knit into it. Okay, and this is a normal stitch. We're just knitting in funky yarn over stitch, still knit into it. Okay, normal stitch, funky yarn over stitch, normal stitch, funky yarn over stitch. We're just knitting into every stitch for round 2 of this pattern. Okay, and we'll pull through. Get some more wool. Okay. I think this is going to be really cool once we get it all done, and who doesn't want a drink bottle holder with this like strap over their shoulders, because I'm forever losing my drink bottles because I put it down somewhere. Okay, so we're just knitting every stitch even through these funny yarn overs, because we want to end up, and hopefully we will, with 22 stitches. Okay, let's see, we'll get to the end and then we'll count again. We're just knitting every stitch here, even when they look weird, still just go in. Okie doke. Get to the end and let's count. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Great, we are on track. So that was round 2, knitting every stitch. Round 3, we're going to do the yarn over, knit 2 together, but we're going to switch it around to knit 2 together, then yarn over, just to give the kind of diagonal lattice look so they're not stacked on top of each other. So yarn at the back for the first one, very important. For the first one of round 3, our yarn is at the back. We knit 2 together first. So in we go, knit 2 together, and we go, knit 2 together, just like normal, and then we do our first yarn over, which is bringing the yarn to the front, and then we knit 2 together. So we go around as we did in the first round, making sure that we're always bringing the yarn to the front. After the first one, we're always bringing the yarn to the front to do our knit 2 together. Bring yarn to the front, knit 2 together. We just go along until we've gone all the way around. But the important thing on this one, yarn over, knit these 2 together. Go, little mate. Okay, and then we'll get, gotta keep zhuzhing with the old magic loop. I never like to do that. I want to do, hey, come on, little friend. yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together. So I'm just getting round to the end just to show you very important part for this round 3, because we are doing knit 2 together, yarn over, which means your last one. So here's our last 2 stitches. We've yarned over and we're knitting the 2 together, but our last thing we do on this round needs to be a yarn over. So at the very end of the round, put your stitch marker over, or maybe put your stitch marker over then yarn over. So what that's saying is you are still creating an extra stitch on the end here as you go into the 4th round. And the 4th round is just another round of knitting every stitch. So, but we have to remember to do that yarn over at the end of, so you could do it here at the end of that round 3. Let's do that just to make it make sense. So end of round 3, we yarn over, bring our yarn to the front, and then round 4 we're just knitting every stitch. So that first one will be weird because you've yarned over, but the rest of them for the final round will literally just be knitting. But remember, you will be knitting into yarn overs, so it will look sometimes a bit funky. See, that's a yarn over, knit into it. No problemo. Okay, 1. And we still want to make sure at the end, so we're just knitting into every stitch, that we have 22 stitches on the needle. So I'm going to go around and then we'll measure it onto the drink bottle. So this is, I'm pretty sure, a 1 litre drink bottle. So I might have to give some different sizings for if you have a smaller, skinnier drink bottle. So this is, I've done 22 stitches for this 1 litre, but if you have a smaller drink bottle, you might be doing a smaller one. Probably not going to do 2 smaller sizes because it gets a bit tricky to do circular knitting on very skinny things. Okay, so we're just knitting every stitch for this final round 4 of the 4-row repeat pattern. We want to get all the way around to our stitch marker. Let's go, go, go. Isn't it a cool pattern? It's super unique and just fun for the drink bottle stitch. This would be cool for a bag too, although I think if anything too big in this wool wouldn't really work, but I think it will be great for a drink bottle holder. Okay, all right, so we've got round, but the last thing we want to do is just count our 22 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Great. So what that means is that we have done our 4-row repeat pattern of a diagonal lattice stitchy job, and we're going to try it on the drink bottle now. So I reckon we've got 1 more repeat in there. So I'm going to do 1 more repeat, then meet you back to show you the bottom cinching in. See you soon.